9th August 2019. The night of New York City in America was like any other day, and people were in deep sleep. Everything was going fine, but the news of a man's death the next morning shook not only New York, but the whole of America. A man was found dead in jail. He was not an ordinary prisoner, but a notorious criminal accused of sexual assault, Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, who was guilty of crimes involving girls aged 13 to 18 for a long time, who was also accused that he supplied these girls to his powerful and well-known friends. Epstein was not only a criminal, he was also a very powerful man. He had a wealth of $600 million, 75 acres in the middle of the sea in the US Virgin Islands, a magnificent private island, his own private jet, as well as houses and properties in many big cities in America. After going to jail, people hoped that Epstein's powerful friends would come out, but before he could say anything, he was suddenly found dead in jail. Jail authorities called his death a suicide, but the post-mortem report was telling something else. Epstein's neck bone was broken. That day, suddenly the guards in his protection were sleeping deeply, and the jail's CCTV cameras had stopped working. So many coincidences being together, people did not agree, and people started to smell a deep conspiracy. In this way, the demand in America began to publish all the files. With time, the pressure increased so much that the US Department of Justice had to publish hundreds of thousands of documents, thousands of photos and emails related to his life. In these files, many such faces appeared that the world asked for their good deeds. Among them, current American President Donald Trump, former American President Bill Clinton, the richest man in the world Elon Musk, billionaire Bill Gates, great scientist Stephen Hawking, British Prince Andrew, and Norway's Crown Princess Mette Moritz. Epstein's close relationships were revealed. According to the report, this is the Little St. James Island. This small island situated in the Caribbean Sea. It's looked like a luxury retreat from the outside, but according to investigative records, the most serious crimes were committed here. 12 to 17-year-old girls were trafficked here, and they were sexually abused. These girls could not run away from here because the sea was all around. This island was the main center of America's biggest sexual scandals island. This island was entirely in private ownership. To reach here, private boats or helicopters were used. Multiple guest house, helipads, and security checkpoints were built on the island. Everything was so secure that it was almost impossible to watch from the outside. This island was outside the legal boundaries of the local authorities, and this was the reason why this place remained off radar for years. According to the witnesses of the victims, girls were sometimes brought here for massage, sometimes for assistant work, and sometimes for travel opportunities. As soon as they reached the island, the power dynamics completely changed. It became a medium of isolation and control. Investigations also revealed that the island was intentionally designed to keep the movement discreet. Who came, who went, was not visible in the public records. The most surprising thing is who used to come to this island. Rich people from all over the world, billionaires and famous celebrities. Many big names are included in them. Prince Andrew of Britain, scientist Stephen Hawking, comedian Chris Tucker. I don't know how many politicians and billionaires came to this island. Parties were organized here for them. But the question is, who was the owner of this island? The answer to this is a name.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. The estimated value of this island is estimated to be between 60 to 80 million US dollars. It was just a small part of Epstein's wealth. The media called it Epstein's secret playground. Jeffrey Epstein was born in Brooklyn, New York City, into a Jewish family. He was very good at academics from childhood and had a strong interest in mathematics and physics. After completing his initial studies, he enrolled in college, but he dropped out after 2 years without earning a degree. In 1974, despite not having a graduation degree, he began teaching at the prestigious Dalton School in New York. However, 2 years later, he was dismissed due to unsatisfactory teaching performance. Additionally, he was accused of inappropriate behavior, including flirting with female students and involving underage girls in social gatherings where alcohol was present. After leaving Dalton School, he he secured a job at the Wall Street investment bank Bear Stearns as a junior assistant. After a few years, he became a financial advisor to millionaires. By accumulating millions of dollars, he eventually became a multimillionaire himself. Among his acquaintances were prominent figures such as Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. In today's video, let's explore the truth behind one of America's biggest scandals, the Epstein case. For many years, activities associated with Epstein's private island remained hidden. However, in 2005, a single police complaint became the trigger that brought the case into the public spotlight. In March 2005, in the Palm Beach area of Florida, a 14-year-old girl and her parents filed a complaint at a local police station. The girl said that a classmate from Royal Palm Beach High School had taken her to the house of a wealthy man. She was told that she only needed to give a massage and would be paid $200 to $300. However, the situation turned out to be very different. Epstein meets that girl only wearing a towel. He asks the girl to take off her clothes and then molests her. When the police asked the first victim if there was any other girl whom you know who went to Epstein's house, she gave 2 names. When she talked to those 2 girls, 2 more names were revealed. And when she talked to those 2 girls again, 2 more names were revealed. The police were shocked to see that this chain was not stopping. Until the police tracked 1 victim, 2 more were revealed. Within a few months, 35 victims were identified in Palm Beach Police Chief, and dozens of victims are being tracked now. The most heart-wrenching thing was that every girl's story was exactly the same. Everyone was called on the pretext of a massage. Most of the victims were 13 to 16-year-old girls, and they came from poor families. Many of them didn't have parents. They were orphans, so no one would listen to them. The police saw that this was not a small case. This was a properly organized pyramid scheme. Every girl gets extra money to bring a new girl, because of which one girl brings another girl, and another brings a third one. In this way, a chain was formed, and most of the girls were under 18 years old. By May 2006, Palm Beach police had prepared a case against Epstein. The case was so strong that in July 2006, the FBI also started the investigation, which was named Operation Leap Year. A report of 53 pages was made. From Florida to New York, New Mexico, the statements of the victims were taken. Epstein was charged with international sex trafficking, 36 minor victims, dozens of witnesses, the investigation of the FBI, and such heavy charges. A man like Jeffrey Epstein should have spent his life in jail, but the truth is that something else was going on behind the scenes. Miami's federal attorney, Alexander Acosta, was making a secret deal with Epstein's lawyers. This deal was being made to save Epstein. He just had to feel guilty about 2 small charges of prostitution. On June 30th, 2008, Epstein appeared in court, and according to the deal, he felt guilty about 2 charges, after which he was sentenced to only 18 months. During this sentence, Epstein was placed in the private wing of the Palm Beach County Jail. He was given permission to go to his luxury office for 12 hours a week for 6 days a week. It was such a first-class jail that Epstein only went there to sleep at night. And even after all this, 5 months before the sentence was over, he was released from jail in July 2009. All this was possible because of that secret deal, because of Alexander Acosta, who gave Epstein this deal. The twist in the story is that Alexander Acosta, who earlier oversaw the controversial plea deal for Jeffrey Epstein, was later appointed Secretary of Labor in the first administration of Donald Trump, who had prior associations with Epstein. For the next few years, Epstein lives his life normally. Nothing happens to him. He roams around in his private jet, throws lavish parties on his island, and meets powerful people. Our story ends here. The villain escapes. But in one corner of the world, there was a woman, a journalist, who had decided that she would not let Epstein escape. Julie Knight Brown. She was an American investigative journalist who was working for the Miami Herald. After Epstein was released in 2009, she followed the case closely. After studying the case for years, in November 2018, she published her report. Not 1, not 2, but a whole series of reports on Epstein's crimes and how the system saved Epstein. Julie named it Perversion of Justice. In the media, These reports bring a new explosion. The public's anger rises. There is a demand to investigate Epstein again. And because of this pressure, the investigation against Epstein begins again in New York. In her investigation, Julie identified more than 80 potential victims. In her reports, she interviewed 8 of them and documented them. The evidence was very clear. In July 2019, Epstein is arrested again. This time, he was charged with direct sex trafficking. He could be sentenced to 45 years, but then comes the biggest twist of our story. On August 10th, 2019, Epstein is found dead in jail. But people are thinking that there's a deep conspiracy. The most important question here is what else is hidden in these files. It is claimed that Epstein had evidence against powerful people, and there was a list of people with time. We will see how many presidents, prime ministers, billionaires, and princes are trapped in this, and how many people's names will appear in Epstein's black book. That's all for now.